Welcome to Rhythm and Bloom. I'm Jarrell Clay with the Hip Hop Caucus, and we are here at the Very Sad Lab, a plant rehabilitation center at the Katzen Center at American University. One of our key goals with Rhythm and Bloom is to bring climate justice issues to the forefront in a way that helps us explore green spaces, but also how we mobilize as a people. Today, I'm joined behind me by our friend and musician Imka, who is going to use one of the plants here to create music using its unique biodata. I'm joined today by Taurjhai Purdie, our Think 100% campaigns manager at the Hip Hop Caucus, and we're gonna dive a little bit into the Transco Pipeline fight happening in Pennsylvania right now. Taurjhai, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm doing well. As a native of Pennsylvania, something that is near and dear to me is the livelihood and health and wealth of my family, particularly in Western Pennsylvania. And when we talk about the Transco Pipeline fight, I'm really interested in hearing everything you know about that fight and how we can get involved to make Pennsylvania cleaner and healthier for the people who live there. The first question from me is just, what is the Transco Pipeline fight, and how is it connected to so many communities in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, so the Transco Regional Energy Access Expansion Project is designed to expand natural gas capacity and transportation in the United States. However, it will require building a pipeline that goes through several different counties in Pennsylvania, including majority Black ones like York and Chester. And usually when people hear natural gas, they think that it's a good thing, it's natural, but it's not. Natural gas is made up of many different gases, including methane, which is one of the most dangerous greenhouse gases and threatens our human health as well as the environment. And so with methane, it affects our respiratory system, so how we breathe. It affects our neurological development, so how our brains function, as well as how our children learn. And in severe cases, methane exposure can even lead to death. And so when we're talking about the impact on the environment, methane is 80 times more potent than any other greenhouse gas. And so when we've been seeing these intense and frequent hurricanes like Hurricane Helene, droughts, wildfires, all of those tie back to methane, which will tie back to the Transco Pipeline.
Wow. Particularly when we talk about York and Chester counties and how this affects majority Black and brown communities. Let's expand on that a little further and how it affects BIPOC communities in that region.
Yeah, so Chester, Pennsylvania is 72% Black. And it has long been overburdened with fossil fuel infrastructure, from West Station to the proposed $6.4 billion LNG export terminal. And so Chester, Pennsylvania, like many other majority Black cities and counties across the country, already face disproportionately higher rates of asthma, cancer, and other health disorders that are directly related to having these health hazards and fossil fuel facilities in their backyards. And so when we're thinking about the Transco Pipeline and who's really going to bear the cost and bear the burden, it's primarily Black neighborhoods.
Chester County, isn't that where, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't like Cheney and Lincoln and the HBCUs in Pennsylvania that are located in that area?
Yes, Chester and York, those are the counties that have been, crucial to, Black people in terms of Black home ownership, Black education. And so it seems a little intentional in terms of disregarding the health and livelihoods of Black communities.
Absolutely. As always, there is some opposition to any fight that we include ourselves in for Black and brown lives. What do you think the opposition's narrative or fight in this is?
There are a lot to name, but first, the opposition claims that the pipeline is critical to energy security and economic growth. But in reality, they haven't really explored or considered how, renewable energy sources could actually be more beneficial and more sustainable for meeting our energy needs. And in terms of the economic benefits to, local communities, they tend to overestimate the number of jobs, long-term or short-term, that will be created by the pipelines, and fail to acknowledge that a lot of jobs related to tourism or fishing will be harmed and lost because of the environmental damages.
Absolutely. When we talk about, I know this is the transition, right, from what we currently face to clean infrastructure. One of the main narratives and things that we hear all the time is, you're taking our job, and how can we use that to then talk about the jobs that are available in clean infrastructure. That first hurdle, right, is education and letting folks know what is out there. And like you said, it does seem intentional that they target us when it comes to creating systems that we can improve from or not. What's the one thing that people can do to get involved with this fight today?
So, in terms of getting involved, there was recently a court case that was settled, which meant that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission actually did not have the right to approve the Transco Pipeline without community feedback and input. And so, in the coming months, there should be a public commenting period and perhaps even a hearing where members of the community can kind of show up, share how they'll be affected by the pipeline, and voice their concerns about, why they don't want it in their communities.
I love it. Well, I appreciate your time today, Taurjhai. If you want to get more involved in the Transco Pipeline fight, you can go to hiphopcaucus.org to get all of the resources and information you need to show up and show out for climate justice.